The year 2025 is already behind us, but it left us with some truly amazing games, projects that were highly praised by both critics and players. Welcome to the Next Play Games channel, let's go! Opening our top at number 10 is The Scenes of Manor. The game was developed by the studio Spooky Doorway and takes the 10th spot in our 2025 ranking based on our criteria. This is a first-person mystical detective adventure set in the Gothic Manor in Ireland in the year 1897. The game received 89 points from critics on Metacritic, which is a strong score with mostly positive reviews. However, the user score is 7.9, since we use user ratings as a T-breaker when critic scores are equal. The Scenes of Manor ends up lower in our list compared to the next game. So why did critics and players give it the scores? Atmosphere and story. The game is praised for its deep and immersive atmosphere, inspired by Irish mythology and the spiritualist movements of the Victorian era. Players investigate the disappearance of Evelyn Dean in a hotel full of secrets and supernatural evil. You play as a detective Declan Ward, collecting clues, listening to conversations, and performing rituals. Critics noted that the time management system makes the investigation feel more realistic and forces players to think carefully about their actions. The game features a beautiful comic book art style, cinematic cutscenes, and a dynamic soundtrack. There are some downsides though. Some players and critics mentioned that the lack of a hint system can make progression difficult at times, and the time-based mechanics may feel a bit rushed. Still, many players appreciated this design choice. At number 9 we have the long-awaited sequel from the genius Hideo Kojima, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. The game takes us back to a post-apocalyptic world where Sam Porter Bridges embarks on a new journey to save humanity from extinction. The game was released on June 26, 2025, exclusively for PlayStation 5. Critics welcomed the game very warmly, with an average Metacritic score of 89 out of 100, which is even higher than the first game. The user score is also strong at 8.7. Why did it score so well? Gameplay. The sequel improves and expands the original mechanics, adding more action and reducing friction, making the experience more dynamic and less repetitive. Dynamic weather and natural disasters add realism. Second, story and atmosphere. The game delivers a deep, emotional story that criticizes corporations, social media, and AI, while exploring themes of family, friendship, and depression. The Hollywood-level cast and cinematic presentation are impressive. Third is visuals. The game is praised for its stunning graphics, incredible visual effects, and a beautiful, mysterious world that pulls you in. Some players mentioned that despite the improvements, the game still feels very similar to the first one. For others, Kojima's storytelling remains complex and unusual. At number 8 is a game people waited almost 7 years for, and it was worth every second: Hollow Knight Silksong. The long-awaited sequel from Team Cherry was released on September 4, 2025, and immediately caused massive hype, even crashing digital stores like Steam and PlayStation due to demand. The game became a sensation among critics. Silksong is the first game in OpenCritic history to receive a perfect 100 out of 100 score. However, since this video is based on Metacritic, we won't count OpenCritic here. On Metacritic, the game holds a 93 out of 100 critic score and an 8.9 user score. Why was it rated so highly? A new kingdom. The story takes place in a completely new location, the Kingdom of Faerlun, a ruined land corrupted by the Seal, a ghost-like madness. We play as Hornet, who is captured and taken to the citadel of Faerlun. Gameplay. The gameplay is faster and more action-focused while keeping the hardcore Metroidvania beat of the original. New mechanics were added, including crafting and delivery quests with fragile items. World and atmosphere. The game offered a breathtaking world with stunning visuals and level design that constantly pulls you forward. Despite universal praise, some players feel the increased difficulty made the game unfriendly for newcomers, while others think it differed too much from the first game. At number 7 we have a new game from Hazelight Studios, The creators of It Takes Two once again redefining cooperative games. Meet Split Fiction, released on March 6, 2025. Critics rated the game very highly, with an average Metacritic score of 91 out of 100, making it one of the best reviewed games of the year. The user score is 8.6. Why did people love it? Creative gameplay. This is a co-op adventure where two writers Mia and Zoe are trapped inside the simulation of their own stories. The game constantly switches genres from sci-fi worlds with cyber ninjas and robots to fantasy realms with dragons and trolls. Co-op experience. The entire game is built around symmetric cooperation, where success depends on teamwork and communication. Every location introduces new mechanics and puzzles that never overstay their welcome. Story and atmosphere. The story explores creativity, friendship, and even criticizing AI and corporations' stunning ideas. The visuals and world design are top tier. Some players and critics felt the story was a bit predictable or weaker than It Takes Two, and the characters weren't always memorable. Still, the constant gameplay variety makes up for these flaws. And sixth place is triumphant return of platforming legend from Nintendo, Donkey Kong Bananza. Developed by the same team behind Super Mario Odyssey, the game was released on July 17, 2025, exclusively for Nintendo Switch 2. It is the first original Donkey Kong adventure in 11 years. Critics were extremely positive, giving the game an average Metacritic score of 91 out of 100, with 0 negative reviews. 100% of critics recommend it, and their user score is 9.0. Why did players love it? Destructible environments. The core feature is Donkey Kong's raw, strange, and fully destructible levels. Players can smash through the environment, discovering new paths and secrets. Gameplay and story. This is a 3D action platformer. Donkey Kong teams up with an unexpected companion, Polly, on a journey to the center of the Earth to stop the evil corporation Void Cove from stealing precious banana gems. Visual style. The game is praised for its beautiful graphics, colorful worlds, impressive scale, and dynamic character abilities. Some players reported minor performance issues at launch, and others felt the Dark Mine tutorial levels were too gloomy compared to the rest of the game. Still, these issues didn't stop it from becoming a serious Game of the Year contender. Fifth place goes to a true sleeper hit of 2025 that topped many best-of lists, including Metacritic's Blueprints. This unique indie game was created by solo developer Thunder Rose and released on April 10, 2025. Critics were impressed, giving the game an average score of 92 out of 100 on Metacritic. The user score is 7.7, highlighting its niche appeal. Why did players appreciate it? Unique gameplay. It's a first-person puzzle game mixed with roguelike elements. Each day, the Mount Holy Mansion rebuilds itself, and the player chooses which room appears behind the next door using blueprints. Everything resets at dawn except permanent upgrades, making every run unique. Atmosphere and story. The game offers a deep mystery inspired by the book Labyrinth Maze, 1992. The story follows 14-year-old Simon, who must find the mysterious 46th room in a mansion with only 45 rooms. Sense of discovery. Players praise the deep satisfaction that comes from solving complex puzzles and understanding how the game's system works. The main downside is the high difficulty and lack of hints. The game doesn't hold your hand at all, and the randomness of room generation can be frustrating for some players. In fourth place is the surprise of the year, one of the most beautiful and stylish RPGs, and also my personal favorite of this list. Meet Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the debut game from French studios Tenfold Interactive, released on August 19, 2025. It won RPG of the Year at the Game Awards. The game received outstanding reviews with an average Metacritic score of 92 out of 100. The user score is an incredible 9.6, showing just how much players loved it. Why did it stand out? Visual style. The game is praised for its stunning visuals inspired by 19th century French painters. Every frame looks like a piece of art. Combat system. This is a turn-based RPG with a unique real-time rhythm system, where actions must be timed to music. It makes battles dynamic and exciting. Story and atmosphere. The story follows an expedition trying to stop the Paintress, who erases one's soul from the world every year. It's emotional, deep, and thought-provoking. Some players found the combat system difficult, especially those unfamiliar with rhythm games. Others felt the world was not as open as in larger RPGs, despite its beauty. Opening the top 3 is an absolute masterpiece that redefines open world games. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Originally released in 2017, the game somehow found its way into the 2025 ranked and still amazed players and critics. Critics gave it an incredible 94 out of 100 on Metacritic, making it one of the highest rated games of all time. The user score is 8.6. Why such high scores? Open world. The game offers unmatched freedom. You can climb any mountain, go anywhere, and solve puzzles however you want. Its physics system is still considered a gold standard. Gameplay and adventure. Players explore Hyrule as Link, fight enemies, solve shrine puzzles, cook food, and prepare for the battle with Ganon. The stamina system and glider create a unique survival adventure experience. Visual style. The colorful watercolor art style has aged beautifully and creates a magical sense of exploration. The main criticism is weapon durability, as weapons break frequently. Some players also feel the world can be a bit empty, and the lack of traditional large dungeons disappointed long-time fans. In second place is the direct sequel to the previous entry and another Nintendo giant, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Released in 2023, the game managed to surpass its predecessor in many ways and set new standards for open-world design. Critics gave it a phenomenal 95 out of 100 on Metacritic, with many perfect 10 out of 10 scores. The user score is 8.3. Why did it score so high? New mechanics. The biggest addition are Link's new abilities, Ultra Hand, which lets you combine objects to build vehicles or weapons. These mechanics completely change gameplay and puzzle. The world. In addition to the surface of Hyrule, players can explore sky islands and a dangerous underground world, massively expanding the map and adding vertical exploration. Story and atmosphere. The story is darker and more epic, revealing ancient secrets and the origin of Hyrule. The main criticism is that the game uses the same engine and visual style as Breath of the Wild, which didn't feel like a big leap for some players. Weapon durability also remains a controversial feature. And here it is, the leader of our top, and according to many critics, the best game of 2025, Hades 2, by the masters at Supergiant Games. The long-awaited sequel fully launched on September 25, 2025, after early access and instantly won over both players and critics. The game achieved massive critical acclaim, with a Metacritic score of 95 out of 100, making it the highest rated PC game of the year. The user score is 8.6. Why such high praise? New protagonist and story. We play as Manor, the immortal princess of the underworld and sister of Zagreus, from the first game. This time we face Kronos, the Titan of Time, who was captured Hades and his family. The story is darker and deeper. Improved gameplay. The sequel expands the Rouge-like formula with faster, more tactical combat, new weapons, and a magic system. Every run feels unique, offering endless build possibilities. Visuals and sound. The game is praised for stunning visual effects, incredible art design, and an outstanding soundtrack that perfectly fits the Greek mythology theme. Some players mentioned that while the game has a lot of content, the final ending received some criticism at launch. Others felt it was very similar to the first game, just bigger and deeper. And that brings us to the end. As we can see, games in 2025 were received very positively by both players and critics. Some titles were released before 2025, but were reevaluated due to enhanced versions and major improvements. If you watched the video until the end, Let me know in the comments whether you agree with the critics and player scores. If not, share your own top games of 2025. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future rankings and leave a like. See you next time.